Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Kill Team Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Savannah Lion Games in Pooler, Georgia, where I'll be fighting an arena kill team match between my Dark Angels and Neil's Tyranids. So the story that we've got going on here is that an Imperial planet found itself under assault from a Tyranid Hive Fleet that had come in and started invading, dropping down its spores and overrunning the planet. Most of the Hive Cities were actually protected, though, with large void shields that were protecting the city that kept the Tyranid forces from infiltrating and getting most of the people. But the one in this Hive City was malfunctioning. The codes for fixing it were found in this research facility, so a scouts team was sent in to go retrieve those codes to help get the void shields back up and working and to help save this hive that had already started to have infiltrating forces from the Tyranids inside of it. So the idea was to get them in there, get those codes, and save this hive. If they can succeed, they'll get those the void shields back up, and they'll be able to keep any other reinforcements from getting into the city. If they fail, the hive will probably fall to the never-ending tide of chitin that's going to be flooding in from the outside. So that is the story that we're going to be going on. We are going to be doing code breakers, which is one of the missions from Arena. Essentially, what you have is 4 objectives on the table here. Each of these objectives can be tagged. Essentially, whoever controls it at the end of a turn tags it, and we begin the mission with the 2 that are closest to our deployment zones tagged by our own teams. But if I was to get a guy over here, I would then take over as having it tagged. Essentially, basically means that you control it. But if I leave there, I still control it until my opponent comes over and controls it himself. So it just goes back and forth that way, but you can leave it. You don't have to stay within the 2 inches to control it. Once you've tagged it until your opponent comes and tags it himself. Essentially what you do is you score 1 point. You score 1 victory point if you have if you have objective markers that are not controlled. At the end of the battle round, after any objective markers have been tagged, a player scores 1 victory point if they have 2 tagged objective markers, or 3 victory points if they have 3 or more tagged objective markers. So, pretty cool. That's what we're going to be doing here, trying to get those. We also have the arena objectives, as always, including if you have the option of the one for this particular arena, which is retrieve tools when this enemy leader is taken out of action, score 1 victory point, or 3 victory points if they're taken out of action in the fight phase. So we'll be keep going like this, 4 rounds, and we'll see what happens. So that is that's the mission, and that's the story that we're going to be playing with. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the 2 armies that are going to be fighting it out. And then the Tyranid kill team will consist of a leader who is a lictor, combat specialist gene stealer. We've got a warrior with a venom cannon who is the heavy specialist. We have a termagant with a devourer who is going to be a scout specialist, and then we have 8 hormagants. So for the Dark Angels, my kill team will consist of, from left to right here, the leader, who is a scout sergeant with a bolter. We then have a scout specialist with a bolter. We have another scout with a sniper rifle and camo cloak, who's the sniper specialist. We then have a heavy specialist with a heavy bolter. We then have 4 more guys with bolters and 1 guy with a sniper rifle and camo cloak. All right, going over deployment now. I've got 1 regular scout here, another regular scout over here. We've got the heavy specialist, we've got my scout specialist and my sniper specialist. We then have the leader, 2 regular scouts, and a regular scout with a sniper rifle back over on this side. Going over deployment for the Tyranids, we've got his scout specialist, we've got his heavy specialist, and we've got 4 of the hormagants over here. We've got 4 more hormagants over here, and his combat specialist and his leader. So that is it for deployment. Now we will roll to see who will have the initiative going into turn 1. I rolled a 6, my opponent rolled a 9, so we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Tyranids here on turn 1. All right, movement phase for the Tyranids. This guy opened the door and everyone else piled out over here. The hormagant's getting ready to go through here, but didn't open the door at the end of this turn here. He got himself back over in this position. Over here, he opened this door, and they all spilled out here, all advancing up here to get position for next turn, since they couldn't really do much this turn. So that is going to be it for the movement phase for the Tyranids. We'll come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 1. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels here. He opened the door, he opened the door. He moved up here, opened this door. These guys moved back over here and just moved over this way. These guys over here all advanced once this door was open and put them into position for next turn once the alien door opens up and the hive starts flying out. So that's going to be it for the movement phase. We will come back to you after, we will come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, so now this guy here is going to start us off by shooting into his combat specialist there. I'm going to have 2 shots because he's within 12 inches. Hitting on 4s though because he's obscured. There's going to be 1 hit. This is going to be wounding on a 4. That is a wound with a fill face. So he's going to have a 5-up save. No, goes through. Is he out of action? On a 2, he's not. I'm going to spend a CP to re-roll that. Into a 1, of course. Bwomp. And now my leader is going to do the same thing within 12 inches. So it's going to be 2 shots rapid fire. Hitting on 4s though because he's obscured. Not going to get anything. All right, my sniper here is going to be firing into his leader over there. He's got chameleonic skin. He's obscured. And my guy's heavy moved with a sniper rifle. So he's going to be hitting on a 6. Nope, the opposite. All right, that's it for turn 1 here. We each scored 1 point because we both have the 2 that were tagged by us at the beginning of the game, but no one got any other points from that. He doesn't have to take a shaken test over there because nobody's out of action can't fail that test. So now we'll roll to see who has initiative going into turn 2. I rolled a 6, my opponent rolled an 11, so we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Tyranids. All right, movement phase for the Tyranids here on turn 1, or turn 2, sorry. This guy readied himself. This guy moved over here, or just opened the door is what this guy did. He advanced from back around here, over to here onto the objective. He moved up in here's position so he can get some shots over here in case he wants to. This guy moved from over here to here and then opened this door. And this guy over here moved up onto the objective. That is going to be the movements that we're going to have a bunch of charges, which we're going to start with this guy over here doing a multi-charge into all of these 3 guys. So I'm going to fire Overwatch now. We're going to start with the first guy up there. You're looking for 6s, nothing on him. We'll do the other guy with a bolter, nothing there. And then we've got the heavy bolter guy on 6s. Getting 1 hit, strength 5, so looking for a 3 to wound. Now I'm going to spend a CP to re-roll that. That is going to be a wound at AP -1. So is that just going to go straight through? So let's see if he's out of action. On a 6, he will be. Next guy's going to do the same. So we're going to have the same Overwatch. First one, nothing. Second bolter, nothing. Then the heavy bolter, nothing. So his charge here, he needs a 10-inch charge to get in there. On a 4 will not get him in, but he's going to spend a CP to re-roll that. So you re-roll both dice.
Yep.
On an 8, well, maybe, hold on. Yep, that was just enough to get him into combat with the 1 guy there. And now this guy is going to charge into both of these 2 snipers, into the non-sniper guys over here. So we'll do the front guy, 2 shots hitting on 6s. No hits there, and then onto my leader, 6s. No hits there. So his charge distance. Here we go. 7 inches might get him in. He didn't make it in, but he moved up to there, so he's out of an inch there. And now this guy here is going to charge into my front guy there, overwatching. No hits.
You won't need to wait for one for.
No, 6 inches won't make it. And now his combat specialist is going to charge in, so I've got into both these 2 guys, so I'm going to fire Overwatch. First guy does get a hit, wounding on a 4. That doesn't wound, and then on the second one, that does not get any hit. So here comes his charge distance. 8 will maybe get him in.
Yep.
He can re-roll because of Swift and Deadly. 10 will get him in.
Got it.
All right, I just got him into the front guy over here.
Okay.
And then his leader just moved up over this direction. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels here on turn 2. This leader here moved. He readied himself. He's locked in combat. He readied himself. He readied himself. He's locked in combat. He advanced up over this way. I spent 1 CP to re-roll his advanced roll because I rolled a 1, I think. So he's over there. He moved up over this way, and this guy is going to charge into his combat specialist. So he's engaged, and he is in. All right, so starting off the shooting phase, his guy, heavy guy here, is going to fire into my sniper specialist. We checked it out, and it was very close as to whether or not he was going to be obscured or not. We rolled off. He's not obscured for this shot here, so now he is going to take a shot. He's going to have D3 shots. He's going to have 2 shots. These are going to be hitting on 4s. That is 1 hit. Strength 8. So it's going to be, you're going to spend a CP to reroll that? 1 second. All right, so my opponent's going to spend a CP to reroll that. Not into a hit, so it's going to be 1 hit here. This is strength 8, so wounding on a 2. That is a wound. AP -2, so I'm looking for a 6-up save. Show me that, Phil, first. No, nothing there. So it's going to be D3 wounds, right? Mm-hmm. So 3 wounds, so it's going to be 3 injury rolls here. And he's out of action. All right, so now my heavy guy here is going to fire into his dude bro over here. So it's going to be 3 shots hitting on 3s. Getting 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll that. That's into a wound. That is going to be AP -1, so it's just going to go straight through. But he's taking a flesh wound. All right, this guy here is going to fire into this guy over here. He's obscured, so I'm going to be looking for a 4 to hit. That is a hit. Wounding on a 3. That is a wound. 6-up save.
Save?
Yeah, there's no AP on that.
Here we go. Here we go.
Sniper rifle. No, that's going to go through. So his injury test is taking a flesh wound. All right, so now his Termagon here is going to shoot into my guy over here because all our ready guys have shot. He's going to have 3 shots. These are going to be hitting on 5s because he's got 3 shots. He's going to be hitting on 5s because of being obscured. No hits. And now my guy here is going to fire into him. 2 shots hitting on 3s because he's not obscured from my position. That's going to be 1 hit. 1 wound. 6-up save. No. And he's wounded. All right, my leader is going to fire into this guy over here. 2 shots hitting on 4s because he's obscured. That's 2 hits. That is no wounds. All right, so into the fight phase. Hammer of Wrath first. His guy is going to go first here. He's going to put 2 attacks into my guy and 2 attacks into the other guy over here. So we'll do the 2 attacks into the front guy over here. So these are going to be 2 and 2. So we're gonna have 2 attacks into him. So it's going to be 2 attacks hitting on 3s. Getting 2 hits. These are hitting on 4s. I'm sorry, because he's -1 because of the flesh wound, but still 2 hits.
Guy closest to
these are going to be. This is going to be the closest guy over here. So these are going to be 2 hits. Looking for 4s to wound. No wounds.
Okay.
And then the 2 attacks into the guys over here.
4s again.
Getting 4s again. That's 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. That's a wound. AP -1, so it's looking for a 5-up save. No, goes through. Is he out of action? He is. All right, so now his Ormagon over here is going to have 2 attacks into my guy, hitting on 4s. That's 2 hits. Looking for strength.
I need a 5.
He needs a 5 to wound.
4.
Strength 3. No wound. All right, so now my scout's going to punch back on a 3. That's a hit. That's a wound. 6 up.
I can save.
No! And he takes a flesh wound! And then my guy over here is going to punch into his combat specialist. That is a hit. That is not a wound. All right, so that's the end of the turn. We do have some morale tests to take. He's got 6 guys who have flesh wounds or are out, so he's not quite at breaking test here. He's at exactly 50. He needs more than 50 for that. But we do have some. So he has synapse. So he'll make sure he's okay and he's okay. But because it doesn't work around, auras don't work around walls, he does not okay. So he has 1 guy out right now. So 1 plus, you roll here?
Do you want his leadership?
Just roll it. It's 5. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So he's good to go. Okay. And then this guy over here has to roll. Ooh, he is going to be shaken. And this guy over here needs to roll. Oh, no, this guy can't fail because he's got leadership 9 because he's a gene stealer. So that is going to be it. At the end of the turn, this is contested, but it remains, I imagine it remains in control of him for tagging it because no one re-tagged it. He has this one, and he also tags this one, which gives him 3. I will score 1 point for holding this one. My opponent will score 3 for holding this one. My opponent also had a secondary card for killing off specialists, so he gets 1 point for that one since he killed my sniper specialist over here. High profile targets. So then he's got that one. And I think that is going to be it. So,
and You lost 2 guys?
And at the end of the battle, score 1 victory point if more enemy models than friendly models were taken out of action in this battle round. Oh, 1 second.
No, I did it.
And then my opponent got cut apart, which is at the end of the fight phase, score a victory point if he killed something in the fight phase, which he did. So that's going to give him 2 points from that, 3 points from this, and 1 point from last turn. So that's going to be a total of 6 points so far to my 2 points. So we will roll to see who will have the initiative going into turn 3. I have a 5, and my opponent has 11, so I'll come back to you after Tyranid's movement phase. All right, movement phase for the Tyranids. He readied himself. He is going to get ready to charge. He's going to charge. He readied himself. He is broken, or he's got failed the nerve test there. His leader is going to stay here, and he's going to stay in combat. So we will now go in, show some charges. Who do you want to start with first?
All right,
we'll come back to that.
Okay.
All right, so this guy's going to start off by charging into this guy. So Overwatch, he does have line of sight, looking for 6s. Not getting either of those, so his charge distance
7
is going to be in. And now this guy's going to charge in. He's in. And then he's going to charge into him as well over here. So he's going to have a 6-inch charge here. And he's in. And now this guy's going to charge into all 3 here. So we'll start with my leader's Overwatch. No hits there, and then the sniper dude bro also misses. So here comes his charge distance. That'll be enough to get in everyone. And then he's going to charge into all 3 of them as well. That will get him into this guy over here. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels. He readied himself. He's in combat. He has to stay in combat because he got charged. He readied himself. He stayed in combat, and he is locked in combat. So that is going to be it for the movement phase for the Dark Angels. We'll come back to you with the shooting phase. All right, this guy here is going to shoot into my dude bro over here. He's -1 to hit because he's got a flesh wound, and -1 to hit because he's obscured. So he's going to be hitting on 6s. Getting 1 hit.
Okay.
Strength 4.
Yes.
4 to wound. That is a wound.
No negatives.
No negatives here, so 4 up save. No, failing that one. So is he out of action? No, check his flesh wound. All right, my opponent's going to spend a command point to re-roll that. And he's out of action. All right, so now my dude bro here is going to shoot. I'm going to spend 1 command point for more bullets to fire into him. So I'm going to have 4 shots here, hitting on 4s because he's obscured.
Range won't matter.
Going to get 2 hits here. These are going to be wounding on 3s. That is 2 wounds, AP -1. So it's going to be 2, 1 second. All right, so it's going to be 5 up saves. So he's got 2 of those that he has to make. Fails them both, so he takes 2 wounds.
D3.
And now he's going to fire back into me. So D3 shots. That's 1 shot, hitting on a 5 because he's obscured. No hit. And my sniper bro is going to fire into his nerve test guy there because he's the only one that's not engaged in combat. That is a hit with a fill face. That is a wound with a fill face, which is a mortal wound. So we'll just do his injury roll now. Plus, so another 6. He is out of action. All right, so now my guy here is going to shoot his bolt pistol into that dude, bro. That's not a hit. I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll it. Back into a 1. All right, so this guy over here is going to start us off with his attacks into him. So he's going to have 2 attacks.
That guy,
Yeah. Not the wounded guy, the other guy. So it's going to have 2 attacks hitting on 4s.
Yep.
That is 2 hits, wounded on 5s.
Yep.
No, but re-rolling because of scything claws. Getting 2 wounds. 2. AP nothing, so 4 up saves. No, failed both of them. So see if he's out of action. He is. Chickens, no! And then when he consolidated, he has Bounding Leap, which allowed him to move 6 inches, and he managed to peg my heavy guy over here. And then his combat specialist is going to use Up and Atom, which allows him to activate after this guy activated. So he's going to have 4 attacks here. These are going to go into my guy here, hitting on 4s because he's wounded. Getting 4 hits regardless, wounding on 4s, getting 1 wound, AP -1, 5 up save. No, goes through. Is he out of action? No, he takes a flesh wound. My opponent's actually going to re-roll that. Into a 5, he's out of action. And he piled into my guy over here.
Stop being there.
And now this guy over here is going to attack into my leader, so he's going to have 2 attacks as well. So this one we're going over here is going to have 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. No hits. And then he's going to activate this guy into my scout specialist. 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. That is going to be, oh no, that's wounded. So he'd be still hitting on 5s, but that's still a hit. Okay. Wounding on a 5. No wound.
Can't do anything.
All right, so now my leader is going to attack into his dude bro here. 2 attacks, getting 2 hits, getting no wound. This guy's going to punch him.
Hell yeah.
No hit. Heavy into this guy. No hit. And scout into this guy. That is a hit. And that is a wound. 6 up save.
Nope.
No. Is he out of action? Nope. Flesh wound. All right, so that is it for the turn here. I do have to roll to see if I'm broken because I've got 5 guys out of action. On a 7, I'm good to go. And I've got nobody has to take any nerve tests, but my opponent does have to take some nerve tests. So he's got 2 guys out of action, so his Gene Stealer is fine. But these guys, oh no, these guys are probably okay. It's probably just this guy over here that has to take a nerve test to see if he is out of action. So he's got 2 guys out of action. 2 plus 1 is 3. He's good to go. So that is going to be it for the turn. My opponent still has this objective, and this was tagged by him. So he's going to get 3 points. I'm going to get 1 point for this one since it didn't get changed. Oh, no, he does. He has 2 guys within, oh no, I've got 2 guys within 2. So that's going to stay the same. So I'll get the 1 point for that. My opponent did kill someone again in close combat for cutaway. So we got another point for that one. But he didn't kill any more of my specialists. So that is going to be it for the turn. Turn 3. So going into turn 4 now, we will roll to see who has initiative. Gonna have 7-2-7, so re-roll. 8-2-7. So we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Dark Angels. All right, movement phase for the Dark Angels is easy. Everyone's got to stay in combat because if I fall out, I can't do anything, and there's nothing I can do to really help my position with that. So that is going to be it for the movement phase. We'll come back to you after movement phase for the Tyranids. All right, so minor technical difficulty with my microphone there. So we're going to go back over just what happened here. Movement phase for the Tyranids was he readied himself. He moved over here. These 2 guys made the charge in over here, into these 2 guys over here. He stayed still and readied himself. He stayed in combat, and then he made the charge into my leader over here, and he stayed in combat over there. So then we went into the shooting phase. No one else could shoot except for this guy who shot into him, hit, and then I rolled to wound. Missed on the wound, but then I spent a CP to re-roll that wound, got the wound roll. So now he has a 5-up save is where we're at now. So getting back into there, sorry about that. Couldn't see those rolls, but here we go. 5-up save. No, so that's going to go through. Let's see if he's going to spend a CP to re-roll that. So my opponent's going to spend a CP to re-roll that. And he's good. Okay. All right, so the one guy who charged into my leader over here is going to attack in. He's got 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. No hits there. But then my opponent's going to spend 1 CP for up and Adam over here for his combat specialist to activate. So he's going to activate him. So now he is going to have 4 attacks into my sniper over here. So it's 4 attacks, hitting on 4s because he's got a flesh wound. Getting 1 hit there. That is going to be wounding on a 4. That is a wound with a 6. It's going to go straight through my armor. So here, roll to see if he is out of action. He is.
All right, and he'll go on.
All right, so now we got the uninjured guy who's going to attack into my heavy guy over there. That is going to be 1 hit. That is going to be a wound. But that is a save. Woo! And then the injured guy who's going to be hitting on 5s. No hits. And now the other guy on my leader is going to start us off here in the regular fight phase. Getting 2 hits. Getting no wounds. All right, my opponent's going to spend 1 CP to re-roll 1 of them. Oh, no wounds. All right, so now my scout here is going to punch his double wounded guy there. That is a hit. That is a wound. Here comes his 6-up save. No, goes through. +2 to this roll. And he's finally out. And then this guy's going to attack into my scout. That's 2 hits. That is 1 wound. That is not a save. Is he out of action? No, flesh wound. And now my heavy guy is going to punch into this guy back over here, the wounded one. That's a hit. That is not a wound. And now my leader over here is going to attack into, let's go this guy. He's going to be 2 attacks. That's 2 hits. That is 1 wound. Not a save. No, it takes a flesh wound. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll that. Yeah, finally getting somebody. All right, so that's the end of the turn there. At the end of the turn, we do, that's going to be turn 4, so it's going to be the end of the game. My opponent now controls this objective is tagged, this objective, and this objective. So he will score 3 points from that, which will give him the max of 9 points for the primary for this mission. He also maxed out on Cut Apart because he killed 3 different turns. He killed a model and took him out of action in the close combat phase. He also had the 1 point that he got from the priority target, the 1 specialist that he did kill. I got just the 2 turns. I got the 3 turns of getting 1 point. I did not get a point this turn for the base for the primary. I also got 2 for the bounty hunter because I killed this guy in close combat. Therefore, I was within an inch of the body. Same thing over there. So I got 2 points for that, giving me a grand total of 5 points to his 13. So a victory for the Tyranids. It doesn't look like the scouts were able to save this hive. I don't think. The void shields are not going to go up, and I think we're just going to, the city's going to get overrun by Xenos scum. So that is how this game went. It got real brutal really quick. I put a lot of wounds on them, but couldn't take anybody out of action. Such is the way of this game. So a ton of fun, though. I really like this game. It's a lot of fun. And really had a good time. So, I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek. As always, my opponent's been Neil. And until next time, have fun.